taste worse than the words in my head. Swallow the curse, can't stomach it. What's on your mind? Read it like Braille when I touch your skin. What's on your mind? Again. Eat me alive. Couldn't taste worse than the words in my head. Swallow the curse, can't stomach it.
Check, check. There you go. At least I'm coming through my monitor. Awesome. Sweet. Let me know if the levels are okay. Yeah, let's track back. Let's find out when nothing from Meghan. Meghan, can you give us a little check for us? Graham's like, she needs to scream louder. We did.
Matured past a lot of high school stuff, I think, this
Mhm.
quarantine, which feels old, but have you done that, or you still get like
Flashbacks to high school?
Yeah.
Not particularly. I think I think about it in bits and chunks. Like the whole experience is not is it's very blurrish
Mhm.
now, and I only think about the good things, really. Like I think the funny thing is that we met doing a play together, um, and that was
Mhm.
Rose and the Rhyme, and that was a really fun time.
It was like the best show that was there when I was there, at least. And they did it because they ran out of money because of the housing crisis, pretty much. And they got the script free from that ensemble group that, like, the moderator.
I think, our director, Kevin Belly, I think
Yeah.
that was his name, was like working over there at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's what I've seen. They had another show called The Sparrow, which is also great. I think it's still free and available. Both shows are really great.
But was that your
And
first time doing it? Did you
yeah,
have
that's
like what sort of like aspirations did you have like at any point? Did you think like, oh yeah, maybe I want to do theater, and it was more of like
no,
a senior year excursion?
I that fall I was doing theater and acting in like the community theater town where I was growing up, because like we went to high school. I don't know who all's watching. I can't see the chat on my end, which is kind of a bummer, but I guess that's fine. You can relay and moderate. But the high school that we went to, like, it was kids from all over the Chicagoland area would come in there. So I community theater that I would do that I liked a lot more is a little more artistic, a little less musical theater than what Ignatius was having us do. And that the fall of my senior year, I did a show. I did Peter Pan. I was Peter and Peter Pan, which was very fun. And everyone was like, so where are you auditioning for school, and where are you doing all this? And I was like, I'm not gonna study theater in college because I think it would become a job, and I don't want like this thing that I love to become work or become a job. So
Right,
I'm not doing it.
It's also like really young to be thinking about that, isn't it? I mean,
What, senior year? Like, where am I gonna go to college?
well, I mean, no, not in terms of like college, but like what. That's the thing. In choosing college, it's like the way I saw it was that like what experience do I want out of it, not necessarily what career I wanted to be taking shape. But yeah, I mean, I don't
See,
even know
I
if it's
wasn't
that.
thinking
Yeah.
of that. I was thinking career, because that's what my dad was like. He was like, I wanted to do graphic design originally, and he was like, what? No, you're not doing that. He's like, you go to school to like be a teacher, or you go to school to be an engineer, and that's kind of it. Otherwise,
That's called a trade
and
school.
I was like, electricity. I was like, I kind of want like electricity, and he was like, no one will take you seriously. You're going to be the size of your mom. She's little, and it's a bunch of big guys, and no one will take you seriously. And it would be a hard life. I don't want that for you. I was like, okay. And so I went to school to be a teacher, and I hated it, and I dropped out, and then started doing comedy in Chicago. And my dad then was like, hey, how about a graphic design? And I was like, I was like, I don't know, I'm really liking comedy. ultimately I am really grateful I didn't study. Well, I ended up studying, getting a degree that basically is a theater degree. But I'm really grateful I didn't go to like a conservatory or something. Like DePaul had, like, I'm grateful I didn't even like go through that process. I think it would have hurt my ego to not get into the schools I wanted to. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just at the point where I'm like only expressing gratitude. I used to be angry for a long time about that period of my life. I hate early 20s. Worse than high school. It was I hated it. Did you have that experience? You're officially in your mid to late now, huh?
That's true. Yeah, that
You're
was
really
a cathartic transition. What was that?
Are you 27 in when's your birthday? November?
It's in February.
Oh, that's okay. Wow.
Tom and I had consecutive birthdays. That's how it was easy to remember. We kind of came in pairs at the time. So.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. I thought you had a November birthday. That's like borderline.
Don't
rude,
even worry about it. It's like I don't put my birthday on a lot of things, and like I'm always off of social media, so that's not something like people would know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we're like good friends. Like but Aquarius, this checks out for me. And good friends, maybe. Yeah. Now what the hell was I talking about? Theater. Oh yeah, so everyone was like, "Oh, do you want to do theater? Where are you going to school?" I was like, "I don't know." And then I did one show. I auditioned for two other shows at Ignatius. The very first one when I was a freshman, Becca Brown was in front of me and auditioning right before me, and was just having 14-year-old anxiety, and really made me feel like crap right before I went to go audition. I was like shaking my damn head. Didn't get that. It was some musical. Auditioned to play Puck. Wanted Puck so bad in Midsummer when there was that crazy teacher. And then George got it, and I quit. I got some background character, and I went to 2 rehearsals. I was like,
I'm done. Throwing in the towel.
He was he wanted to open up Midsummer Night's Dream with a choral singing of 59th Street Bridge by Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah, what a period piece. I don't know what he was thinking, man. I love my favorite beef with Mr. Claude and Rest His Soul is when
he passed away.
He passed away, I think, I can't remember how many years ago. But this is still funny. There is an experience that some people had that were in the exec board, in which they wanted to make a t-shirt. They were going to make t-shirts, right? So they purposely made Midsummer's Night Dreams t-shirt really bad. Because the first semester's t-shirt was for Kiss Me Kate, and so they made their own design for it, and Mr. Claude did not want that. So they just made their own t-shirt, and then for the next t-shirt around, they made his purposely crappy. He's like, incorporate my design in this t-shirt, and it was just a black t-shirt with a black box of his drawing.
Wow.
This was not a student club. This was Mr. Clauden's masterpiece theater.
Oh, absolutely. What was the guy's last name? John something, and I think he designed the Kiss Me Kate one. I mean, who cares? But I remember.
Let's call him John H.
John O. No, it's not it. Mr. Claude. Oh yeah, and then I quit that one, yeah. And it turned out that it was kind of actually a really bonding show for everyone. I think that was in Harlequins. And I think that's kind of when you and I were first kind of meeting. Is that true?
Well, Brian Pisani was in it. and that was like sort of like a friend group that I think you were a part of, and maybe we hung out a little bit because of that.
Mhm.
But in any case, our friendship became a little bit more solid when you did Kiss Me Kate. Um,
Frozen
uh,
rhyme.
oh no, you're right. Rose on the Rhyme. Sorry. Um, so there we go. Now we're here. And you were saying that like a couple stories ago, I think you asked me like what does the mid like what does the 20s feel like for me? It's the shittiest time on earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. This doesn't feel
Okay,
good.
but
Yeah, like
outside of it,
trying to figuring.
totally the shittiest time.
Yeah.
I'm stepping on you, sorry.
No, it's okay. I think we might need to change like our audio settings for next time. But yeah, no, it's just like this whole period of like trying to figure out oneself is like really painful, and like figuring out what you were doing was wrong, and figuring out why you were doing those things is like really sobering, even with all the substances we are taking in.
I was
That's why
gonna
we
say
do
the
more
same.
of them. That's why we do more of them.
Mm-hmm. I
But we do the things that try to make
Did you
us
ever
happy,
go to
right?
Burning Man? Do you know what it is? Yeah.
Did I ever go to Burning Man? I did
So
not.
me neither.
Do you want to go to Burning
I'm
Man?
having I mean, kind of now. I like heard it on Chris Gethard's podcast. Do you listen to that?
I did not listen to his podcast yet, but I've seen a lot of his stuff. I saw him live at Talia Hall.
Ooh, that would be good. I
Mhm.
saw Dave Chappelle there. I brought this guy that I was dating who's like probably the most handsome, like classically handsome person that has ever been, for sure, more interested in me. I freaked out. He's very handsome guy from like Brother Rice or something, you know? Like kind
Okay,
of like
another
this little
Catholic school in Chicago.
oh just like a South Side like football school.
Right.
Like but I was working at have you and then I was working at this taco shop at the time, and he in with his friend on like a Friday or Saturday. I didn't even know he was drunk, but he ended up giving me his number and saying like, obviously we don't have to hang out tonight, you're gonna get off late, but text me and let's hang out. And when I later met his friends, when we went down to Beverly with all his friends, they were like, he did what? Oh my God, Ryan, that's just crazy. He never would be like this. He was so shy. And I had blonde hair when he met me, and it started growing out. And we started to like have a conversation where he was like, your hair is getting darker than when I met you. I was like, yeah, it's winter now, and it's expensive to do my hair, and I'm mostly wearing hats. So,
This is really something.
oh, by the way,
Like,
I
you
forgot to
weren't
ask
blonde.
you,
Are you actually blonde?
your hair's getting darker. And he's like, by the way, I should probably ask you. I mean, we had been like cooking up for like 2 months or something at this point. He was very sweet, like very
Mhm.
sweet, like naive. Probably got hot the last semester of high school or something, so he didn't know, you know.
Mhm.
And he was like, "Oh, by the way, are you on birth control?" And I was like, I'm not. And he's like, "Oh, we should have been using a condom." And I was like, I mean, probably, but I'm not too worried about it. This was a different time. I was more self-destructive. Okay, I'm not trying. I don't.
What? No, I mean, how many people have unprotected sex nowadays? Is like, I don't want to look at the numbers, but
Out here, everybody's. I don't know.
but it's like, yeah, I mean, you
And I was
never think it happens.
like, pulling out. Yeah, it's actually that's something that in high school they make it seem like you get pregnant from making eye contact.
Right. So you're just like, fuck it. Let's try it.
It's like, well, and then they also do the thing where it feels like, well, if you do have to, it's a lot harder to get pregnant than you think. And then also it's like they make it seem like if you do, then it's like a blessing from God, and that is actually fucked up. But
Right.
He, in conclusion with this Ryan story, he was like, I was like, well, we can just start. He's like, I was like, if you're uncomfortable, I was like, if anything happens, don't worry about it. Do that. Like, that's like, I wouldn't want to ask that of you. And I was like, well, that's just what I would do. And sorry. And he's like, well, I said, well, we can start wearing condoms if you want to, because if that would be very uncomfortable for you, I'm not trying to put you in that position either.
Right.
So we can just do that. And he's like, oh man, but it takes me so long to come with a condom, like 15 minutes.
Oh my God.
I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's start doing that then.
Oh my God.
I know.
Am I gonna keep hearing the same story from like every woman that I know?
Really?
Yes.
Oh my.
This is insane.
God.
Like having a conversation with someone I knew, who I was seeing at one point in my life, and saying that, like, you know, oh, I've had these scares, I've had these STD scares, and I'm just like, well, like, you being safe? And they'd be like, oh, come on, like, you know, like that people don't like wearing condoms. And I was just like, if you wanted me to wear a condom, I'd wear a condom. It was never like, oh, I'm not gonna wear a condom. Like, it's just like, just tell me to wear a condom, I'll do it, you know?
Yeah.
But it was just like, I would rather wear a condom than make someone go on birth control than like completely fuck up their body in a certain way.
I saw this one tweet this week that was like, hey babe, can you go on birth control? I know it like fucks up all your shit, but it would just be really convenient for me to not wear a condom the 2 times max a week we hook up for 15 minutes. It's like, yeah, it's like that. It's like it seems insane. But and especially like me, I like have like, if you're on antidepressants or have ever been, it's like scary to me. I'm like, I'm not trying to go on. It fucks it up. It fucks all that up. But I've heard thing and all that, so I should probably look into that. But now, listen to this. Last summer, I woke up and I was 27, and I woke up one day and I straight up was like, I'm ready, dude. I'm ready to have a kid. I'm ready. Let's do this thing. I'm trying to get knocked up.
20s sucks.
I'm serious. And I was like, well, I guess my mom was like 26 when she got pregnant with me. Like, maybe it's just like genetic. Listen, what I found out was that there's no proof of this, right? There's no medical funded research about this, but often people who, when you want to have a child of your own, could be a hint that you want to start raising your inner child.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Shout out to Millie Crossing over in the chat. We're talking about having children. The idea when it comes to you, that random moment that happens in your mid to late 20s. Oh my gosh. You want to start raising your inner child, so you're going to have your own child and then just do it all over again. I've learned so much from raising a child, mostly from myself, not about raising children.
Wait, what'd you say? That it's you would rather raise yourself than a child? It's just more expensive.
Right.
Kids are more expensive than therapy. For sure.
Let's talk about therapy. I'd much rather talk about that than parenthood.
Bad show. Sad it got canceled. Sad Glow got canceled.
Yeah, Glow, come on. That was the worst decision. You took it back. You took it back. You gave us a renewal, and then you took it back. I had such a good time on that show. But, you know, I heard some people didn't have a good time filming that show.
I heard that all the women were genuinely very good friends because a lot of them, you know, is their first big thing together.
Right, or at least it's in retrospect, some of the POC women felt that they were shelved for
Oh,
storylines
alright.
that would have like made them flourish, because they would have, yeah, I mean, you use them more, you would have had a better show. I mean, just like hands down.
And
Garm
great
is saying,
song.
my inner child sucks ass. I want to ruin a new person.
I've been like having flashbacks to, I've been nannying since I was 10. Can you believe that? I
Wow.
made little posters that are like brought around the neighborhood, and I charged $1.
Wait, how much did you charge? She cut off a little bit there.
Then I was like, I charged $1 per year the child was old. So if they were 4 years old, it cost $4 an hour to watch that child. 5 years old, $5 an hour. And the mom,
that's a horrible return.
It's very not good. I was 10. I didn't know. It was my first business. And well, second, I also had a lemonade stand. That did extremely well because I grew up on a busy street.
And you'd spike it.
And I would spike it. No. And I was in with the cops. And so then I would spike the lemonade. They would take a sip. The cops would pull them over. Is this good? No, sorry.
Everyone with babies is flocking to your door, is what Millie Crossing's saying.
All for me to raise them.
Yeah.
I have been feeding the neighborhood cat, and I think it's having an allergic reaction from me giving it tuna.
No.
And then I put coconut oil on it.
On the cat or on the tuna?
I don't know. I'm like, oh shit! I almost just fell. What the hell was I talking about again?
We were talking about mid to late 20s, that feeling that you get when you have children, and then we talked about like raising children, why you want to raise children. Then we talked about your babysitting. Let's get into your comedy.
Okay.
What was you started doing comedy where, when you got to Los Angeles, or when you were here in Chicago?
When I was 5 years old, I was on the tube.
We're going way back.
We're sitting there. My parents were 30 and 29 or something, or they were 30 and 31. And my mom was like, let's have a third baby. And my dad's like, I'm working. And she was like, well, now's the time if we're going to do it. And so my dad was trying to get off this project where they kept sending him to Europe for 2 weeks at a time while I'm like 4 and my other sister's 2. That's a lot for a single person. And she has ADD. So it was kind of like, she didn't know that at the time. Anyway, is this too much information?
No, this is great. This is an amazing origin story.
He said to his work, like, hey, like, we're trying to have kids. I can't be on this project anymore. And then the work came back. This was the mid 90s when they were literally just printing money. That meant nothing. So everyone thought that everything was going really well. And so the company comes back and is like, well, would your family move to London? And he was like, yeah. And so we kind of draw a bit of attention in mid 90s London because everyone's either wearing black or they're like punks, basically punk teens. And we were wearing gymboree, pink, and all this shit. And we're American and screaming and accents. So I get the attention of some adults one like Saturday on the tube or something, and my dad is showing me off, and he's like, well, what's that? That's a London Bridge. And then he said, what's that? The big tower with the clock. And I was like, Big George? And all the UK adults laughed and laughed. And my dad said, I turned to him and I was like, I want to do that again. and I kept saying over again, and no one was laughing anymore. But he was like, "Okay, that's enough." And that's fine. So that's when I really started. Or that's when it was picking addiction.
So
I
wait, so
started
he...
doing improv and sketch.
I was gonna riff off that and
When
say
I
like,
was
so did he
20.
like throw a hat on the floor while he was like peddling you as this small
I
performer?
opening at Piccadilly Square. I'm there
Right.
with Eddie Izzard at Piccadilly Square.
Right.
Like,
So you're saying
tried to
your
do
life was like the
NFL.
bicycle thief. You just sort of had this dad that was just trying to like take you around and just experience misfortune with one another. let's do that as some sort of like bonding time.
Yeah, sad. And my mom never got pregnant. Just kidding, she did. Gross.
That's a twist. I would put that in for a little bit of more like dramatic exposure.
And she never got pregnant. I did think she was having an affair with the cab driver. In, they would always say, "Where to, love?" And I was like, she's cheating on dad with these guys.
Oh my god. Can we do a quick flash
like,
forward?
I guess that's just the fake.
To the first time
They're
you performed.
still.
Do you remember the?
For real?
Yeah, the first time that you wanted to, like, you felt like this was my like time practicing, or like, oh, I'm a stand-up now. Not like you would call yourself a stand-up, but like, okay, I'm pursuing stand-up. This is the first step I'm going to do. Like, what did you do?
I never, as far as stand-up goes, I like hated stand-up for a long time. And I actively hated it when I was participating in like the comedy scene in Chicago, which is like far more sketch based. And like if there are people watching from New York who were for school, there's a theater in Bushwick, I think, that was in a basement called The Annoyance, and it was only there for a couple years, but all those guys that like started it had been doing comedy in Chicago for like 2 years when I started being in that scene. So they were kind of like the big kids. And they're all like really like funny, and I didn't know how lucky I was to watch them kind of come up. I totally forgot what I was saying again. Oh, and then I thought I came to LA wanting to produce, or thinking like that's what I'll do. Just like kind of having like low confidence with my work on stage. And when I moved here, I did have myself. Had been living with my boyfriend in Chicago, and we broke up. I moved out here. When I got here, my Airbnb was wrong and not a real place that I could stay. So I was in my car for a little bit, and I was like just trying to kill time, and I didn't have anywhere to go. I'm like, I'm not paying $5 to see some bullshit at UCB. I've already done all that. So I went to open mics because they were free, and it was infuriating. They were doing like really racist shit. Hopefully now that like Joe Rogan has moved, a lot of those people that don't really want to find themselves and bring that to the stage, they just want to talk about some uninformed opinions that have been someone else's, but they looked up to when they were kids or something. Like,
right.
I'm trying to be diplomatic and say, you know, some of those people will move. It stunted the Los Angeles comedy scene, I think, for a really long time. I think agents and management stunt the growth of individual comics and the scene at large in Los Angeles.
Wow, that's a big take.
Yeah. And Joe Rogan, I think. I mean, that's like really putting it simply.
Yeah.
I don't mean Joe Rogan the person, but Joe Rogan the idea. So hopefully
I wasn't kidding. I wasn't kidding when I was promoting the show that you would have the biggest news on like the pulse of the Los Angeles comedy community.
I think too much. I started doing stand-up because I saw these guys going up there and being like, dude, I was raping this chick and she wasn't even coming. And I'm like, whoa, cannot say that. And I was like, after this fucking month, just to tell them to shut up. and then I like got kind of hooked. And I'm still figuring out like my voice and stuff. And I think I've worked a lot on my personal self-confidence. And hopefully
give us a second. I think we're a little bit frozen on the stream, so I gotta figure out what's going on.
I can also, I'm gonna move maybe a little closer to my
right,
router.
You're not on Ethernet, right? Cool. Frozen too. Jesus. Is my audio picking up? Can anybody hear me in the chat? What's frozen? Is the video frozen? The audio is totally cool, but our faces are just completely frozen, which is kind of funny.
I hope it's a good position.
Both of our videos are frozen, which I could see too. I could see that in here. So what we're gonna do? Oh my God! Wow, man alive, that was scary. All right, here we go. We'll try this again.
I got like a bunch of dirt on that shit.
Here we go. That should be better. All right, and we're back. Vid's frozen. J. Luke, thanks for looking out. Graham, thanks for looking out. Connor, you're the best. You're all the best. All right, we're back. It's our first outdoor stream. I am, of course, indoors. And, yeah, I'm joined here with Meghan Sullivan, and we've been just shooting the shit. Where were we? What did we leave off on? We were talking about you experiencing male comedy and the abhorrent male comedy and thinking there needs to be a fresh alternative. Tell us what you normally talk about on stage and on set.
So what's frustrating is that there really is it's a very delicate balance to get your foot in the door and have people book you on their shows and keeping your integrity. There's a lot of people, Twitter is creating stars and is not making stars. I think there's only a few exceptions to that rule. And I'm not talking about like straight to camera characters.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like, I mean, Meg Stalter being like the biggest breakout star of quarantine, without question. Meghan Stalter, Meg Stalter. She was in Chicago for a while, and then
that's right. Okay, I know exactly who you're talking about now. Okay.
Yeah. And then was in New York and did a couple shows there, and then Twitter is like New York's. They're obsessed. They're obsessed. So she really popped off there, and but she had already honed her skill and her live performance, and so I think that's what really brought her next level, because there are some people that blow up on Twitter, and they're just copywriters. They've majored in marketing, and they know how to get retweets, and they know who to talk to. If you get like one or two, I don't want to call anybody individually out, because that becomes sensationalized when you throw a name in there. But there are real people who've gotten to 10K because they ask a few people that they're friends with, that they befriend, that have the blue check mark, to retweet them, and then they really start gaining traction. And it's definitely that group. Well, this one already has 1,000 likes, I'm gonna like it again.
Right.
Or I want to be the one who discovered this comedian. It's like what we were seeing early aughts with music and indie music. Almost.
Okay. Very cool. All right. Not very cool, but it's just like, this is an interesting way or perspective to look at it. because that's something that I was definitely seeing on Twitter. I was just like, like these remarks can be said by anybody. Like I hear what these people are saying like on a regular basis from my friends. Like they're not saying anything new. It's just based on who's sharing it and who's retweeting it and the circles that these people tend to circle around, because like a lot of these, blue check marks also are authors and also like know how to make content that sells really well. So it's like, how like do you branch out when you're approaching comedy? And is it comedy still when you're
It's
trying to
marketing.
sell a performer? It's like, what is it? Say it again.
It makes you feel it's marketing.
It's marketing.
And it makes all the skills fucking so different and the end product different, but it's marketing in that, yes, of course it's what your friends are saying, because they're taking what they think is the little bit of the pulse, and it's usually like your boyfriend or your ex, blah blah blah, texting this, texting that. It's not a new idea, but because they have a blue check mark, or because they have 10K or even like 5K, then it's like, oh my god, look, I just said this the other day. Now this person that has been vibe checked is all of a sudden like saying it. So then they tag their friend, or they retweet it while tagging their friend, and I'm plugging my computer. It's just exponential, and it's the top 1%. We're getting into post-capitalism in on Twitter.
Right.
Consequently, and so it's hard to find a balance between talking about your sex life and stuff, which I was doing that in high school too. I would do the, oh, that's my ex, or some shit like this.
Right.
Already, and you really kind of can't come up unless your parent was on SNL without talking about dating or sex. Serious, as a woman.
Right. What do you think that sort of...
And I think feminism sometimes gets
All right, wait, let's get that concept one more time. That like, there is a sort of imperative to talk about your sex life, and that what did you say is the connection to feminism? And that
sometimes I think that there is a confusion socially, I'm talking like at large, culturally really, between feminism and female empowerment and sexual empowerment.
Where does the comedy lie in between both of that?
I'm not laughing. I don't know. I haven't thought because I've been away from comedy kind of with intent for a while, because it is really a toxic world. But and I think there's another part of it with the music world, but I think that there used to be a lot of laughter in talking about your dating life or your sex life as a woman, because it's like, oh my god, you should not be doing that. So a little bit of like shock humor in it.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
Or you feel uncomfortable that she's talking about her sex life and feeling pleasure. So, or speaking out against someone not bringing her pleasure, that you laugh because you're uncomfortable. And so you're releasing the tension that you're experiencing.
Right. If that, is that sort of comedy like created for the male gaze or the male ear, and in that, like, do we like, I mean, what goes into the mind of a comedian when they have to cater to a specific audience, or is it something that you pick in your life that you think is distinctly funny? You know, it's like the thing that goes into my mind when I watch a stand-up is like, who taught you how to like do this, or did anybody teach you?
That's interesting.
Who taught you what was funny? That's interesting.
Me?
Who taught you? Yeah, who taught you what was funny?
I think like I think I kind of like knew what wasn't funny. Like you learn like what isn't funny, and then you stop doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that like my dad's mom, she sometimes would say stuff that like was to no one, and it was just for herself, and she would say it out loud, and it wasn't necessarily meant to be funny, but it was just kind of a little joke to herself. And I think a lot of what makes me laugh, I just want to like have a little fun and a little bit of lightness in a moment, and if I can get a laugh from it, great. And if
Right.
people around me don't understand it, as an aside comment, that's okay too. Example of what I mean with my grandma, like she taught, I was watching her play solitaire on her bed once by herself. She didn't like invite. I just like walked. I got in a fight with my cousins or something downstairs. I just was like, "Screw you guys! I'm gonna see what grandma's doing." And she would be in her room playing solitaire by herself. And I saw her cheat. And I said, "Whoa, grandma! You can't lift up the card. Don't change it because you don't like it." And she's like, "Why not?" I said, and I was like, "That's cheating." And she said, "I'm not telling. Are you?" And I was like, who would I tell? She's like, "Exactly." And like, why would she do that? Why would you cheat at solitaire? It's a game with yourself. Like, but it was, I don't know. It was just for her. And I don't think I really like brought that full circle very well, but
I loved that. That was distinctly funny, and that was funny. Like, I'm not to assume anything, but I think it was funny for herself. That was a moment she shared with herself, and then it happened to be yours as well.
yeah, it's almost like this is rude, and at times when
I cut you off a little bit
or I
there.
am feeling insecure.
Okay.
Well, but that's not always true either. But like if there's someone at the DMV that is like has no, okay, first of all, for me it's like what brings you joy, and then that if you're laughing, like that is contagious. It's like an energy, and it will spread. And then it's writing for me. So you like, if you can go in and you have an idea, and then you come to X conclusion, you look at it and then be like, okay, here's X conclusion. What if I brought that to the beginning and then look back at it? And if maybe you can like work backwards, and then it becomes funny because you're not seeing that, you're not connecting those two things at first.
Mm-hmm. That's the golden ratio.
Like in this, yeah. Like, you cry in This Is Us all the time because you're like, I didn't know that they were triplets, and then we were watching them when they were kids and now they're adults. And it's like, well, it's not like that good of a story. It's just like, oh yeah, everyone grows up. But when they reveal the information the way they do, you cry.
Mm-hmm.
You cry. Oh my God, that's Kate's son as an adult. Like, yeah, I cry. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, but it's like there's really no emotional there.
Right.
It's just how do you manipulate it? How do you structure it?
Well, I guess that's where like genre stuff really gets into intention, where it's like you intend to write something in order to make someone have a strong emotional experience. But laughing is a strong emotional experience. That's the thing I think people need to figure out. Like in terms of like Go ahead.
I don't know if this was a conversation I had with you or not, but if it was with anyone besides myself, it was probably with you, talking about I think Tim Heidecker is like, you know, humor, you don't have a comedy, you don't have to be laughing. Like, to be scared, you're not always screaming. You can be scared and experience fear without being like ah, 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 the whole
Right.
time. You can be in a movie theater and be like, oh my god. And you can have something that's funny without having the audible reaction of laughter.
Right.
But specifically with doing stand-up, I think more than sketch or anything else, sketch helped me figure out intent. Improv helped me figure out a little maintenance, helped me figure out how to write better, and I can like tell if people are gonna laugh or not. That's funny, but I don't think it'll get a laugh. Sometimes the audience surprise you, but
right.
Yeah, I cut you off there. Sorry.
No, I don't think you did.
Manipulating to get a certain reaction. So in that way, writers and marketing are comics in a way, right? Like they're manipulating an audience to behave in a certain way.
Right.
But that to me isn't. I mean, it's rather pretentious, but like that is not comedy to me. That is not. I come at it with like it's a tool and like a weapon, and let's get people to think a little bit. I like pranking and tricking people, but not into buying a product. Me, I don't really. Yeah.
Well, I hear that.
I love comedy so much.
Yeah, I think there's so much room to move around within comedy, and using it for, I think, an expressed intention. Pun unintended. Sully's the work. You know, like, or like having an ulterior motive anyway. You know, where it's like improv feeds off an audience, where it's like maybe, I don't think this is true for all stand-ups, but some stand-ups are going into it with like, this is for the audience, and then when it comes to TV shows, that's marketing. That's the thing where, like, you know, when do we get to like auteur or like art TV? There's like, what would you consider art in terms of like television programming? Something that is sold to us. Something that is like drawn so that you could watch more commercials.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's so many commercials in The Boys.
Right. Oh, right. Let's get to your boys' takes. We got to get to that. But I think we have to do a couple of things first.
Okay.
First, grab whatever you're drinking and take a sip out of it. We've been talking a while, and I want to make sure that you're hydrated just as much as I am.
Thank you. I left it over there.
Don't worry.
These are my overalls.
They're great. They're paint covered. They're everything that we need. Thanks everybody who's watching right now. You're tuned in to a conversation with Meghan Sullivan, who's living in Los Angeles and is working within the comedy world. We should also mention an organization that you had brought up. You had brought up that you were very interested in highlighting mental health for the POC community, because mental health, or pursuing taking care of your mental health, was something that really transformed your life. So we're going to throw a link in the chat to this organization called Beam. which is based out of Los Angeles. I'm going to throw this in the chat.
Thank you for highlighting it.
Yeah, of course. The acronym goes for Black Emotional and Mental Health. And they are a training, movement building, and grant making organization dedicated to the healing, wellness, and liberation of Black and marginalized communities. So you can go ahead and check out their page and donate if you feel so inclined. But this is something that is local to Los Angeles. And if anybody's watching that, just so you know. But we're definitely going to talk about your takes on the boys. But I think since we're bringing up mental health, could you tell us a little bit about like how your life has changed when you decided that mental health was something that you needed to work on?
Actually, at Ignatius. No, this is like it. I really feel like everything that we need in our lives, we have by the time we're 12, and it's just a matter of like being or something.
What was that being?
People
What?
don't like because they were at 12, so it's like hard. It's like a matter of like we have everything that we need for our lives, our skill set and stuff. We can refine our skill set and learn how to woodwork or something, but everything we need to survive, we have by the time we're 12. So I like wanted to like do like therapy like I was like in 3rd grade. Maybe that says something else, but
not that you needed like. So what did you think that therapy was at that time? Like, what did you know about it? Like, in terms of what it could do.
From Rugrats.
Dr. Lipschitz, the Lipschitz book. Dr. Lipschitz says.
Yeah, and then I remember like there's I don't know, but this time around I got really lucky because 2 weeks before quarantine started, I decided I want to find someone to go back to, pay attention to my mental health because I was feeling like I was just a little stunted, and I'm like,
sure.
Oh no, I was ready to have my Saturn return, and yeah.
Right.
And
can I ask?
Help me kind of process.
When you're like, how important is the relationship between? I mean, do you have a therapist who is the same gender as you or identifies as you as a little bit?
I haven't asked. Like, I don't know if she has kids or really anything really about her life, and I kind of like that.
Okay.
She seems like a little more feminine than me, but she's really good and she's experienced. I had one other therapist in Los Angeles who just came from a little more kind of a bougier background, and it was difficult to I didn't really trust her. At first I did, but then as we went on, there were certain things that she just didn't really understand that what I was talking about.
Right.
And maybe she was a little younger and so she wasn't as experienced as the one I have now, but I think that it's difficult to have like a very clearly like straight person if you're not a very straight person as your therapist. There's just so much more. Talking to my roommate who's a POC, and she's like, I'm working with a guy right now, I really like it, but I think the main thing that's different is because he's also POC, and there's so much that is just understood about between our experiences that it's like it just is an improved experience.
The reason why I asked is because the reason I asked is because I experienced therapy with my first therapist was a man well above the age of 50 who was white, who anytime I would say or talk about an experience, he had this like really like his reactions to it really affected me, and I think it was like just born out of confusion, you know. And so like he was very into the Socratic method, just asking like more questions, and like it just got me frustrated. It's just like I'm just trying, like I'm literally feel like I'm just explaining the Mexican experience to a white man. That's what it felt like, and it just got so frustrating that I quit. I was just like, I'm paying too much for this. I don't want to do this shit. This is bullshit. It's just too much work. Second time around, sorry, I got worked up. I had this wonderful um, um, older black woman who was fantastic and gave me a sense of assuredness, knowing that they can understand a little bit more about my experience, but also I felt a little bit too assured. You know, I was just like, I don't think that I'm necessarily. I'm not criticizing myself, but I don't think I'm going deep. I think it was really just affirmative in what I was thinking and just validating everything I was saying. And so the third experience I'm in right now is a little bit more closer to what I need. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What did you say?
Oh no, that kind of was my next question. Was you kind of were like wanting almost more of a Catholic experience in that you wanted someone to be like, or like, no, I don't want to like put words. I was gonna make a joke, but I don't.
No, I hear what you're
put,
saying.
Like,
The confessional aspect, like confessional aspect, is something I wanted.
I was trained to like get in trouble. I kept that this time that I'm doing therapy, like it's like she said I'm not allowed to use that word anymore. But it has taken me. Right now I'm at a place where I'm like being like, there doesn't have to be a problem, you know. And so,
Right.
do you have a problem like trust? Like if someone gives me a compliment or something, I'm just like, why are they lying?
Say that again. Why are they what?
Why are they lying? Like, what do they want from me? Like,
interesting. That
or
is, no. I think that's a distinctly, that's a distinct experience for people that are growing up in this day and age, where you encounter people who grew up differently, and you don't know whether or not they have ulterior motives because you've met people who've had ulterior motives. So I think that's just informed from your experience with people who may have done or taken advantage of that. That's my experience. I don't know if that's yours, but you know, I had a lot of people really misinterpret my intentions when I was being friendly in college and thinking that, you know, I was, you know, I don't know. It's just like what are you doing? What's your angle? Is always like that's always on my mind. You're like, yeah, what's your angle? But I think that for so many different things. But you know, kindness. If I'm experiencing kindness, I'm never really too, what's the word, investigative of it, or like ambivalent of it, you know? And that like it's so refreshing to experience it, why question it?
Yeah.
But if it's a compliment and it's just like, where does that compliment come from? Like, who are you in relation to me? I ask those questions. Those are healthy questions.
Yeah. I'm thinking about Ellen and kindness.
Ellen DeGeneres and kindness?
Yeah.
It's funny, I was talking about the interaction between Dakota Johnson and Ellen DeGeneres in terms of like the kind of earnestness and the kind of honesty that you get from talk shows. I had therapy today. This is what I talked to my therapist about. And I was like, I just thought that was great television. Like, someone's calling out a talk show host for being very divisive on a piece of like experience that those two people shared, and be like, I'm looking at this completely different from you, but Ellen, you're spitting out lies right now. I'm gonna call you out. Like, you're fake.
Ellen, to me, to bring it back to the boys, Ellen is Homelander.
No way. That's great.
I tweeted that. Nothing. Got nothing. Maybe I'm just in the wrong audience.
Yeah, if I saw that tweet, I definitely would have liked it. I'm gonna put your Twitter in the chat. Holy shit.
Right? Like,
who's the cat? Garm is asking. I don't think you introduced us.
Mochi, she's a neighborhood cat. But, she was having some itches. And so I put some coconut oil on her last night. And then they power washed my roof today, which I guess hasn't happened for quite some time. And it appears as though there was some dirt or little speckles of water that have come off of the roof and absolutely dirtied this cat. And I feel a bit bad, and I've never washed a cat before, and I'm not sure what next steps are. But it's actually kind of beautiful. Like, I would love to have my hair like this. It's like doing a Billie Eilish kind of thing where it looks, the roots are lighter than the hair that's growing. But no, that hurt.
Well, I think
I'll leave it too, but come on, so cute.
Yeah, I've taken many a Benadryl at friends' houses just to play with their cats. But what a perfect segue to talk about The Boys and what your hot takes are about The Boys. Was that your hottest take? That Ellen DeGeneres is Homelander?
Just because, like, Ellen is I would have thought that anyway, but that Ellen is a hot topic right now. But I was actually turned on to the show by, I've been in a non-relationship with someone for the past year and a half, which is...
As one does.
As one does, especially in quarantine.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I got a text. It's another story. But I get... Okay, that weird church that the fish guy goes to.
The fish guy.
You want a fresca?
Oh, right. I forget the name of that church, but it was very much like a sort of Scientologist, very cultist, maybe even sex cult type of church. What was up with the fresca?
Way too many episodes of NXIVM's thing. They could have done that in 4 episodes.
That's so true.
More? Like, what? You just look up the rest online. But good for these people, they finally got work. I don't know, like... Yeah. Sometimes I think improv was... I was getting some improv vibes watching the NXIVM documentary.
Is improv a sex cult? Is the Chicago improv scene a sex cult? Is that why Second City went down?
No, Second City went down because they've been going down for a while. Andrew Alexander got caught cheating. Andrew Alexander is the CEO. He just put it up for sale. He got caught cheating. His wife, who's beautiful, was like, okay, I'm taking half the company, or you're teaching our son Tyler how to run the company. What do you want? And he was like, okay, I'll teach the son. And the son, who's a couple years older than me, was bad at the job. And so then they stopped letting him do stuff. And then people were like, you guys, by the way, are being kind of racist. And it started in like 2015 when Trump was running. And the audience members started yelling shit at performers.
Really?
And really racist suggestions.
They're giving racist suggestions? Is that what you said?
I think there are some examples in the New York Times. Yeah. Like, to try to get laughs. Like, not yelling dildo anymore, like yelling like, I think there are specific examples in the article.
Alright, I'll find that.
But I was like already in the process of kind of trying to move at that point, and was over Second City because I thought that it was kind of bullshit. But they were really treating. I was interning at a talent agency in Chicago, and the way that the talent agency, who's like booking people, you know, real work for in Chicago, they cared about Second City people for sure. It's one of the major institutes in Chicago, but it just wasn't really as important as they didn't care about it. But consider seemed like the only way to get SNL is through us. And I was making it be like, oh, the only way to get SNL, which is the only job you can get, and it's the best job, is through us. But working at the talent agency, and then my boyfriend at the time, his best friend ended up marrying a comedy agent that's at CAA. And hearing some of her stories and then being like, wait, and then knowing shit from the dance world and stuff, I'm just like, something about this is not as authentic or genuine as I thought.
Yes.
Kind of ties back to the boys. Where this curtain gets revealed and you're like, oh, everything is really fucking fake and people are evil because they up in this world.
Right, and I think that's maybe that could be the biggest message of The Boys. That this idea, this American dream, its entire economic system, all of the like Catholicism, religion, all of it is not the metric of what is good and bad. These sort of icons that we created for goodness are doing really bad shit. And sometimes when you want to do good stuff, you have to do really bad stuff in order to get the good stuff done. Is that something? Like what would you say about the protagonists of that show, who aren't characters you necessarily want to root for, but when it's in opposition to really horrible people, get them.
So, I see the Australian guy.
Yeah, Carl Urban.
What a terrible name for a show, The Boys.
Well, it's I mean, bad name for a graphic novel too.
Oh, it's the novel's named that too?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that. But they're referring to like the bad guys that are the good guys, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That's also kind of what the Satanic Temple's about, which is being like, oh, we hate the devil, but the devil's like literally being like, Jesus, you're dying of thirst. Do you want water? I have some.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
You know.
Right. So, that was going to be your original cause that you wanted to promote tonight, but it's something that you're just recently getting into. Did you watch the movie Hail Satan, the documentary?
Yes, I watched that the day after Ruth died. I loved it too.
The day after who died?
I just think Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
RBG. The day after RBG died, you watched Hail Satan.
I could. Yeah, I just want to not think about nothing. Like, I'm not watching The Social Network or whatever that documentary was. I just want to think about nothing. When I watched it, I was like, I love this. But I think that the protagonists, it's a trend for sure in our storytelling that hopefully that we see on a lot of streaming shows right now. We see like these white characters being. Yeah.
We're getting a lot of wind. Very windy.
Oh, sorry, Scientology. Didn't mean to bring it up. Oh my god, it's coming in stronger.
Oh my god, you're gonna get blown away. Xenu is bringing his wrath, is what Garm is saying. I think we need to transition inside, Megan.
Okay, let's go. Go cheat.
you were reporting live from a
I think it's a
protest
trend
or
to make, like-
something, I would have been like, that's fine. It's raining sideways.
It's definitely a trend to have like white characters, and I just don't know any other examples besides playing off of the trope of like the good girl or something. I'm thinking of Phoebe Waller-Bridge in her thing where she's like bad but good.
A Fleabag?
Fleabag, yeah.
All right. Do you want a news drop, or do you wait until we're done streaming for me to? All right. This is from Twitter, so that's, I don't know how viable this stuff is, but Senate has confirmed Amy Coney Barrett. Voted 52 to 48 to confirm the federal judge in a vote to fill the Supreme Court vacancy left by RBG. The move cements a 6-3. What's up?
I said Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the wind blew. And you said they've confirmed Amy.
Yeah. Damn. Someone's listening.
Wow.
Very superstitious. Xenu. This is the power of Xenu. Go on to Scientology.org, everybody. Wow.
What did you think of Hail Satan? You loved it.
Yeah, I had a great time watching Hail Satan, and then I actually I think I listened to Duncan Trussell's interview with the creator of Arrested Development, Mitch Horowitz. Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
And he is a member of the Satanic Temple, and I got a really good impression from what he was saying about it. But also, you know, like institutionalized religion. Oh, the cat needed and wanted some love. That's what Garm's saying. But yeah, I think I agree totally to what you were saying about like Satan was just like had the most logic. I mean, like, God, like, you're really gonna waste all your time on these people that honestly like are pretty bad. Like, this is it. This is the end all be all. Like, this is kind of bullshit, dude. Like, like heaven's kind of fucked up right now. Like, we got to do something about this, man. God told homie to kill his kid. God told homie to kill his kid just to fuck with him. Whack. That's what. That's Graham's take.
Love, okay, and we love that. My room is so messy, and to be honest, I am embarrassed.
No, it's looking great. It's looking good. Looking fresh. It looks like busy. It looks like you have a lot of tasks.
I do.
Things are very accessible. That's very much how my place looks like. This backdrop is very much a farce or a facade of the mess that everything is like is you're not seeing. But I got 2 shelves from IKEA, so we should be in the clear.
Whoa! That's my shelf from IKEA.
Nice. It's good. It's looking great. So you go into the shelving area and the tool area of IKEA.
I used to, but you don't talk anymore, no. You don't talk anymore, no. Like you used to.
Have you done a stand-up show virtually? Have you done any of the pandemic stuff? Has anyone called you up and be like, Meg, I need a type 5 for a virtual comedy show?
I have not, for a couple of reasons. really don't think that my comedy stand-up translates well to this, because I like my first like couple of laughs. Oh shit! I left my door open. Hold on.
What's
Wait,
up,
actually,
chat?
that's a really funny bit. That's actually a really good bit to do for a stand-up show.
Right?
A virtual stand-up show. Oh,
I left my
and then,
door
like,
open and then just leave. I was
That's
on edge
funny.
there. That is a good one. Write that down. Well, maybe like your virtual stand-up is just a bunch of sketches, like a one-man show in that sense.
I mean, I guess now I do it, but or like streaming shows, but that isn't necessarily stand up. I've only recently wanted to go back at all.
Go back to what? Performing shows?
Stand up.
Stand-up.
Yeah.
I mean, are you working? Are you paying the bills right now with what are you doing? What's keeping you busy?
Right now, I have been doing a lot of mental health stuff. Oops, sorry. I thought that was gonna be good.
It's pretty good.
And for money, I've just been like PAing, like production assisting, or I helped transcribe part of the DNC working that I saw what it ended up being, and I was like, guys, you did too much. I saw the raw footage and that was good, and now this is a lot.
Wow.
It just was insane. Like, I mean, I guess people were just like higher up producers were just like so bored in quarantine that they were like, oh, you know what else we could do? Like some more graphics. Yeah. Oh, let's do some more segments. Oh, we can get another team. Oh, I know a team that needs like work. Let's like contact this other marketing team in Brooklyn.
Right.
Oh, I know a group in San Francisco. It's just like,
right, too many eggs in the incubator.
yeah. I've been thinking about doing a podcast, and honestly, you're a consistent source of inspiration. I can what you present. I think that's the energy that you have, a positive spirit, and it translates. It makes me feel a bit calm.
I think you do that as well.
I was like embarrassed to put out a podcast because everybody
has one,
Thanks,
but
that's nice.
not everyone has your sensibility and your approach to specific subjects. Like, there are things that I didn't necessarily think about within the comedy scene until you brought it up, you know? Like, I know that there are really like bad like male comics, but like what's the climate, you know? It's just like and I think what you could do is very original, and like that's the thing too. It's like if you don't have a completely original idea, you're gonna have to like rely on your network of friends in order to market it, in order to sell it, in order to spread it around. That's another thing too. I mean, that's what I'm sort of experiencing with this Twitch stream. You know, it's just like all of the network that I've cultivated over the years, basically all of my viewership. You know, there are also like ways that like people can like, I don't know. I guess I'm not going the extra mile in terms of like trying to make it big on this thing. The reason this Twitch stream exists is so I can have really fun times with my friends and have a way to preserve it and put it on YouTube. Like, I can remember this experience with people. I can remember the end of my week, and I could talk to my therapist about like days that had happened, rather than saying like, oh, my week was a blur. This actually happened. This week is stacked. I know my calendar looks empty, but I have a lot of shows coming up. Like tomorrow, I'm interviewing another comedian. That's happening tomorrow at the same time. Wednesday, I'm off because I deserve it. Thursday, I'm having another episode of Nerd Gaze. On Saturday, we're doing a cover bands night. At any point, people can interact with me. Look at all this free space. That's opportunities to hang out with me, people. Throw me on your stream. Like, that's how I will sell my stream. You know, by hanging out with other people. And so, like,
That's
me hanging out with you is lifting you up. You coming on my show is lifting me up. But I wanted to do this for so long. I want to talk to you. I would want to talk to you every single day if we had the opportunity. And so that's why I tell people, like, join my server. I'm on Discord all day. Like, aside from, like, making food and, like, you know, going to the bathroom, playing games, like, I'm just, showering. I'm on Discord and, like, I'm doing work on the side. So, like, hang out with me and, like, let's talk. Like, if I'm streaming, you'll know that because I'll put it in the going live thing. But it's like, we can hang out anytime people want.
Oh, I get it. Going live.
Mm-hmm.
Up.
Right. And so, like, that's why I like Discord so much. Because you can make rooms for people to hang out in. You know, it's just like, oh, I met this really cool person on Kurt's server. I'm going to play Rocket League or Dead by Daylight or No Man's Sky. So I'm going to use that channel to talk about if anybody wants to play. You know? And so, I mean, people say, like, oh, okay, Discord's only for gaming. But, like, I'm on an ADHD server. I'm on a server that's just friends of one particular friend. And those are really cool people. And I want to, like, hang out with those people all the time. So what do? I put a comment in that server and see if anybody interacts with it. I go to another server, ask a question, see if people interact with that. Like, this is what the internet can bring you. Use it up. Yeah.
This is very awesome. Oh, they've got a Minecraft one.
There's a Minecraft server. Yeah, there's an Animal Crossing server as well. Oh, shoot. Everyone's looking at Discord right now. I just realized that because I took you out of full screen. There you go. All right, we're better. Yeah. So tell me, do you play any games? What is your last experience with gaming?
I have been really on one with Minecraft. It's like where I go to fully escape. And I don't like go online. I'm just it's really kind of nerdy.
In the best way possible. Yeah. I mean, it's a great. So it's like it's more of like a passive experience, and that like it's relaxing to you. But you are also, are you going in depth with it? Like how big into Minecraft are you? Would you say like, I'm building a really cool thing? Is Minecraft like Legos and the fact that like you can build whatever you want and like whatever you make is beautiful?
It's like Legos, and if you don't have a piece, like I know that like when I was doing Legos, I would be like, dang, I really need like 3 more steering wheels to do the thing I want, make the thing that I want, and then I just be like, I give up. But in Minecraft, it's just like really a rather simple sandbox game where you can manipulate. Oh my god, what is it called? The computer shit, so things can happen.
Right.
So if you're missing a piece, like if you need glass to make something else, you can go find sand and then burn the sand. That makes glass.
Mm-hmm.
You kill a cow, get leather, put it with the paper, get a book.
Right. That's what I'm experiencing in this space sort of oriented game called No Man's Sky, where it's like you have to build things. Those are your objectives when you go onto a new planet. But sometimes, like, your objectives in a planet is like, oh, there's a lot of toxicity or radiation on the planet. So all you need to do is make sure that your ship is powerful enough to go to the next planet and then start building things on that planet. Because every planet you go to isn't very habitable. So you need to figure out how to survive on the planet. And those are all of your objectives.
Oh no. Do you have endless life?
I think you get 3. I'm pretty sure you get 3. But it's like, it's also a co-op game. So it's like, I guess you could fail a mission. Like, you could die enough times and then you, like, oh, the mission's over. You guys are done. But, like, you can go for as long as, like, I've played for maybe 3 hours the other night, playing with my friend. So, yeah. But that's like, so I know what you're going through with Minecraft. I find that in different games as well. That's awesome.
What is that one called that you just talked about?
It's called No Man's Sky. What computer are you working off of? What's your hardware like?
About this Mac. We have oh, you know what?
What's
At
your
you, I'm
RAM?
using a lot of my
Your CPU? You
yeah.
got like a lot of apps open?
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's either my Wi-Fi, which is, I very doubt. But
Wi-Fi.
oh, Tesla's joining us in the chat. I found some Wi-Fi. Hello, Kurt. Hello, Megan. Nice to meet you. Tesla is another streamer who I interact with very regularly in the past couple of days. Very nice person from Canada.
Cool. Which part? I just found out that I'm French Canadian.
Really? Did you do Ancestry or 23andMe?
I did Ancestry because there was this like rumor that like oh shit that someone took like some uncle or cousin took all the money and ran away to a Dakota, and I was like, what the fuck? And I looked into it. They were French traders, and oh, they were French fur traders, and then one of the uncles took all the money and ran away. No, it was not an uncle. It was my great grandpa.
Did your great grandfather in
basically
fact take all the money
manipulated his way into
manipulate his way into what?
He usurped the family into the Beauvais family. Said his name was Henry McGinley. And it wasn't. And he changed his name a lot of times. And there's like all of these articles from the 1880s and 70s where like in the 1870s, he's like popping off. He is like lawyer extraordinaire. He is like killing it. He's like hosting the Irish Republican debate, like meetings in St. Louis and Chicago and St. Paul. And then it starts to turn.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah. And it's like, it's McGinley's, well, at the time in the 1860s, 70s, the Republicans were I wasn't alive, but
okay, wait. So you cut off from when you said the Republicans
what I'm telling
were.
myself.
What did you say after that?
The Liberal Party, Whigs were conservative.
Okay. Okay then. All right.
I'm learning a lot about history, stalking this.
That is insane. That is wild. We're learning Tesla lives over on the Vancouver Island, which is the west coast of Canada. Sounds like a very Quebecois thing to do. I don't know what that is in reference to. This is wild. This is insane to know. How are you learning this? You're learning this from the app, like.
No, doing my own research. So I kind of I'm like, oh, this is cool. Oh, this guy, my great grandpa. Wow, I didn't know all this. He's like this cool French guy.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. And then all of a sudden, I'm like looking at census records. I'm trying to get to a place where the internet's better. Sorry, I'm moving around.
Okay.
I'm looking at census records. It's like I can't find people for like 20 years. And I'm like, okay, I need to like look up the kids. I need to look up people to figure out who, like, what when they're missing. So over the course of like almost a year now, I have figured out that I then have gone on like newspaper.com and figured out the majority of this craziness where he is being sued, and all of the headlines are like the character of McGinley comes into question again. And
The character of McGinley is the new Florida man, or like the old Florida man.
Absolutely, it's like, oh, his character's in question again, and like, yeah. So, I mean, I'm in the process of. I still don't know if this guy was. So Henry McGinley is how we know him in the family on his son's death certificate, which is my great-great-grandpa. He's actually, I guess, my great-great-great-grandpa, this criminal guy. On my great-great-grandpa's death certificate, it says that his father is Henry McGinley. At some point, he changed his last name, my great-great-grandpa, to Tinsley, which is his stepfather's name.
Go on.
Beauvais, who was the oldest daughter of this French fur trader in St. Louis, who was like this really cool dude. It seems like, so great-great-great-great-grandpa Beauvais was in the Little Rock Gazette. Is this a good story, or it's too?
No, it's great.
It's like going
no,
all over the place?
I'm really interested in the story. But someone in the chat asked if you stream on Twitch, and I really want to ask you and do a quick tangent. Are you interested in streaming on Twitch? Is that something you ever thought about doing?
This is really my first positive experience with Twitch. I had done a Twitch thing maybe 16 months ago with a group of comics that I had been recruited into. I didn't know them. I only know one person, and they turned out to be this is really cool. And yeah, I think I'm going to.
That's what's
Should
up.
I look up what my name is? I forget.
What, your name on Twitch? You just followed me, so your name is Sister Meghan. I think is a great
Awesome.
name. I think it's a great name. Yeah. You're definitely gonna want to connect Ethernet.
Oh, I don't
To
even
your
have an
computer.
Ethernet cord.
Oh, not a cord, but do you have a slot for it in your computer?
Oh yeah.
Sweet.
My computer? No.
No?
Actually.
Okay. Well, you probably have USB-C, a USB-C slot, and you can put like an adapter for that. That's the thing I have to go with for my computer too.
I
Tesla
lost my
is-
adapter.
Oh, okay. Tesla's
I'll find
very
it.
excited about you trying to get on Twitch, so you got one follower there. But
I can see.
that's awesome. The idea about you streaming is really exciting me. What is that?
Pumpkin seed.
Oh, pumpkin seed. Are you thinking about growing a pumpkin?
No, those grow to be about 30 feet long.
Tesla's saying that they also have internet problems, so it's hard. It's definitely hard. But there are
Just don't know what-
workarounds.
Yeah, there are workarounds.
Mhm. But I'm excited about what sort of like community grows out of your Twitch streaming, because I think that's something that.
Well, what should I talk about?
Well, that's the thing, because you can do a lot of things on Twitch. What am I branching out towards? I knew that I needed to play games. That's kind of like that's what I do in my regular life. So why not share that with people? But then I remembered that I love interviewing people and I love hanging out with people. This has been like the less interviewee sort of experience I've had on stream, where it's just like, I know you well enough where it's just like, this is just us hanging out. This is kind of what we would normally be talking about. So what can you do, and what is your aspect? Maybe you and some of the people that you know in the comedy scene can do like different things together, because I always think it's a great idea for you to interact with someone or somebody in the chat. So that's something to keep in mind. Doing it by yourself is great, but just remember that like you have to keep a sort of like when I go into a stream and I'm doing like maybe a just chatting stream, I know that no one is probably going to interact with me on the chat for the first couple hours. So I'm kind of talking to myself. So what do I need to do in order for me to start saying more things? I have to play a game, or I do some like art stuff. And I like talk to myself about like, oh, how do I get better at this? And so that's the part where it talks to myself. Then someone shows up in the chat. Then it's like, okay, now I'm interacting with people who are watching me. So what are we going to talk about? And then all while this is happening, what's also in my head is that people could be watching this later. Right? So there's the video on demand. Right? Like my schedule might not work for everybody who's watching. When I post a video, like when I finish a stream, it tells me how many views the video's had. And so after a video of maybe 3 people watching at max, on video on demand, after a couple days, maybe like 3 or 4 days, that video will have like 30 or 40 views. Which means like 30 to 40 people watch that video either to completion or they watch some part of it. Right? So, like even if I'm not gaining... Go ahead.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, this is my experience with going through Twitch, and
That's it.
Another person who I think you should follow too on Twitch is Connor the Miller. He just wrote a really good piece on Medium about what it's like to join as a Twitch streamer, and it said that it's very analogous to someone who is teaching at home, doing remote learning. You know,
Wow.
because how many kids can you like confirm are watching you and interacting with you? You'll only know that from what's in the chat. And he writes about that sort of thing, where it's like that's where the, you know, connection lies between remote learning and Twitch streaming. Do kids' cameras have to be active?
More
Sure.
Twitch
Yeah.
streaming and less remote.
More Twitch streaming, less remote learning?
Yeah, my roommate. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. We can learn from Twitch, dude.
Right. That's true. But it's like, what do you do with the institution of public education? You know, how do you fix the institution of public education during this pandemic? And how do you use platforms like Twitch to teach children? Because I think like as soon as the government gets involved with that, like you got some really fucked up things that are going on with Twitch, and like people trying to use the platform in order to just like lift themselves up as a performer or a gamer, you know? It's really messy.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
You know, I think and ultimately people just kind of don't want to do work.
Right.
I think that capitalism in that way, where people are like, I want the car, and I can't have, in order to be powerful in capitalism, I need the car first.
Right. I need to hoard wealth. Because the car could be any car, right? But it's the car.
Warren Buffett is driving that Honda, baby. But I have a couple things to say on that. One, I was thinking yesterday about, okay, well, if I went on a handshake with this guy he was like, I love cat. I was like, okay. I think he was like trying to get me to be like, fuck you, I like socialism or something. Like he was just basing it off of like what I was wearing. But I was like, that's good to know about you.
What did he say in the chat? What was that again? You cut off a little bit.
Oh, I'm on this date and he said, I love capitalism in a way that
okay.
that was like anti-academic.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said okay. And then later he was talking about puppies and dogs. And I was like, they're so cute, I want one, la la la.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, I just love he described what he liked about a relationship with a dog. And I was like, oh, so socialism. And he laughed. And then was like, no. I was like, yeah. That because they can't do it but for themselves. You like that. And he was like, no, it's because if the dog's cute, the cuter the dog, then the more I want to give them stuff, and so they're working for it. And I was like, okay.
Okay.
Okay. And then I'm thinking about that interaction yesterday, and I'm like, okay, so if we have true capitalism, then everyone is riding a bike, and only the physically strongest people get to the beach first to get the fish first or whatever. Like, it's not like people who can afford a fucking Tesla who get the hottest chick and win capital.
Right.
Like, we all
the
got
idea
rid of cars.
of the
Like, you know what
the
I'm
idea of
trying to say?
the trophy wife comes from like a status sort of position. You know, it's like,
and the only people I know who are like, oh, love capitalism are like people who there's no way first of all, you're not winning capitalism because you and I are on a date, and I'm not.
What does that mean?
Do you know what I mean? I'm not like trying to put myself down, but I'm not. I'm like this idea of someone that you think could help you get to this lifestyle that you're assuming was obtained through hard work.
Okay.
And that
yeah.
I'm not hard work really, and I'm working on that, but
I'm not hard work. I'm working on that.
I'm working on it. I'll go out with anybody. I'm bored, you know.
That's wild.
We don't go out the house, but
that's I
what
mean
am I talking
that's
about here?
that is such a like. I mean, like for me, I was just like, this is a rich material coming out of that date.
Right?
Yeah, I had a virtual date off of
for
Hinge.
sure. And he's also. How was that? I like virtual dates.
It was a great time. We had confirmed. Yeah, I think we want to sleep with each other. And you know, I was having some like body issues, some health issues that I was just like, I don't think I'm ready to like see anybody right now like that. Like I can't have a physical relationship, but like I don't know. Hinge is amazing. Like you could make amazing friends off of Hinge. Like I love that platform. I think that's a great platform for dating, but also a great platform for like finding friends, because yeah, there's some really cool people out there. You know, like, and this person was really cool too. So like once I'm in a comfortable place, I'm coming for you. If they're available. I mean, I'm not, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have a different experience with Hinge, because I mean, there could be some problematic people on Hinge. I work with a very limited pool. You know, it's like a very limited people think that I'm attractive, and that's like I like that's just like, or at least like there's a very limited amount of people who want to act on that sort of attraction. And not to say that there's like a certain group of people who look like the same, but it's just like, it's like my experience on social like dating on apps is not the same as a woman's. That's just objectively clear, because men are so fucking thirsty, and there's like so many men out there. It's just like gross to think about. So I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like I'm also getting to another place though, because
Mhm.
I have been spending a lot of time and I've been getting healthier, and it changes your point of view, and I'm bringing something different, and I'm looking for other shit than what I had been looking for in the past. I'm like kind of like I'm like quarantine depressed. You know what I mean? Which is different, I think, than chemical or situational.
Mhm.
Like quarantine feels like it's just like whatever, dude. You know?
Yeah.
Wait, who'd you wait?
I waved to Tesla. They're leaving the chat. They got things to do.
Okay, bye, Tess.
They're
What-
bathing in rays of setting sun at 5 degrees Celsius to unlock the Canadian winter spirit. It snowed today in Chicago.
I saw that. My mom sent pics.
Mhm.
She tells me what.
Snow pics. Snow pics.
No, remember when people used to be like, "That is snow, awesome," or
Yeah.
maybe that was just me and Chloe.
No, we said that.
Did I tell you?
Oh, which Chloe? Which Chloe? Can we do a name drop?
I tell you that I sat next to her dad on a Southwest flight.
No way. Did you say like?
I
So,
did.
Agents of Shield, huh?
It's Southwest, right? So you can sit anywhere, not pre-assigned seats.
No way. I totally forgot about that. I haven't been on a Southwest flight for 8 years.
That's what I fly. I have that credit card, and
What?
my intention using I got that credit card last year. I visited my cousins in Seattle, did some shows there with the intention of building my credit, because that's another story. Oh, that I kind of told you the other day.
That is true.
With the intention of going on tour in 2020 and using points.
And going on tour. Oh my god.
Just say 150,000 points. I don't know when. Now I could probably fly to Australia 3 times with that many points right now.
Yeah. In my mind, we're going full circle. We've reached the golden ratio where it's like, ding, ding, ding. We've talked about that before, and that's what I wanted to talk about. And that the pandemic has curtailed your bursting out, or busting out, as you would say in comedy.
Yeah.
You were stunted by this pandemic, as many other people were.
Yeah. Some people popped, but
Yeah. But so, I mean, now it's like, you live in and working on your mental health, but you're also coming up with this idea where, like, oh, you know what? At a certain point, I'm gonna have to start paying the bills, but maybe I could do something that's like a personal project that might bring some income in on the long run. Like a Twitch stream or a podcast or a vlog on YouTube. Also, like, this conversation will be preserved on YouTube, so it'll last forever. This is the great part.
I'll put it.
What's up?
I hope I didn't say anything really bad.
Probably the best stuff that you said was probably chopped off in your like crappy internet situation. Maybe it was mine too, because I don't have an Ethernet cable. We're doing a stream off of Wi-Fi. Your video has been coming in pretty choppy. Like, yeah. So I've had you like repeat a bunch of stuff. So I don't know if I'm coming in pretty clearly, but I think like my reception from you has been pretty choppy. So that's what people have been listening to or watching. So.
Okay, I'll work on it. I'll order an Ethernet cable right the
Yeah, I got an email from Twitch. It was like, hey, you've been streaming us for a long time. We'd really like a survey done. They gave me a $10 credit on Amazon. So technically none of my money went into Amazon. So I paid for that Ethernet cable off of the gift card that they gave me. So Fuck you, Bezos. That was just a free transaction.
Listen, Bezos is just working the system.
Yeah, this
You
is the whole
get-
system. It's the whole system.
Listen, you can get mad at, I was going to say, whatever her name is from Mean Girls, but she's just working high school. She's just being hot. She dyed her hair blonde. Like,
Oh, what, Regina
you
George?
can get mad. Regina George, yeah.
Regina George. Yeah, wait, no,
Just-
she wasn't a natural blonde? Could have fooled me.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I would have gotten a relationship with Regina George, and I would have been like, hey, just a question here. Are you on birth control? Bringing it back
Wait.
full circle.
How about this rug? I can't believe this is so. Can you see it?
1 second, let me look at your Discord. Cash money. I'm gonna full screen you. I gotta full screen you. I'm surprised I haven't done this already. What did I do? Oh, I thought I figured it out. I fucked up, y'all. But yeah, people can see it. That's a great one. I would love that
Well, I'm
in
not
Animal
gonna get it.
Crossing. You're not gonna get it. Okay.
Funny.
Oh, now no one can see it? What the fuck? There we go. This is wild. Alright, now our entire video is gone. What's going on? I really hate Streamlabs. But, I'll tell you what, our video is probably working. It's null. What do you mean it's null?
Luke, no.
Oh, we're back. I changed it up.
Something smells good.
Is someone cooking in the kitchen?
Someone.
Did you ever end up eating
So-
that really hot chicken I got from the city that you're in? I forget the name of the restaurant, but I got the spiciest chicken and I left it in your fridge. I was like, yo, eat this. And I didn't tell you how spicy it was. I didn't like say like, oh, hey, it's a really spicy chicken, just so you know. Did I?
I ate some. I'm sure. I don't remember what it tasted like.
Okay.
So long ago.
I just remember putting that in my mouth and almost dying. Just like
I am I'm looking online. Isn't that bad?
No, don't worry about it.
I guess either way I'm looking online.
Yeah, I mean, as a streamer too, like you're gonna be looking at a bunch of different screens, so like, it's always about like interacting with the chat and interacting with whoever's on stream with you. You know.
Okay.
But yeah, you have to be really good at multitasking, which I think ADH people are definitely dealing with.
Yes, Pro.
Yeah, we're MacBook Pros. We're lighter than MacBook Airs.
Yeah, but with more power and functionality than
I think we're burnt out. It's been an hour and 58 minutes of streaming. How long do you want to go for? We can end in like 2 minutes, or we can go for another hour. It's up to you. If we do, we should probably take a break. I didn't hear your answer.
Oh. I said I have to pee. I think we should break for now, but this is really fun and good. And I'm gonna get an Ethernet cable and figure it out so that it's good, and find my connector and get like a good setup.
So we're gonna stay on stream then?
No, I don't have an Ethernet cable. I have to like get one from the store.
Oh,
So-
okay, cool. So this has been cool. Let's do it another time. We're gonna do another stream with you, Megan.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. I love that idea. You're gonna join me while I'm playing games, and we're gonna talk.
Okay, dope.
All right, cool. Megan, thank
I
you
love
so much for coming
you.
on the stream. We're gonna talk outside of stream eventually, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. But everybody's excited about you starting streaming soon. I'm really excited about you doing that as well, and then like collaborating with me at any point you want. If you're interested in doing some art stuff, we're going to be doing art studio on Sunday. You can come on stream for that. We're just going to be doing some like random art stuff. If you feel like painting, if you feel like drawing something, doing something on Illustrator, just hang out with us on chat and tell us what you're doing, okay?
Okay, dope.
All right, cool.
I miss you.
All right. I miss you too.
Oh, well. Oh, I went to
Bye-bye.
touch the screen. It's not a touch.
Oh, don't worry about it. All right, everybody. That was Megan. Thank you for joining me on stream. I haven't set up my chat screen yet because this is the first time I'm doing like one-on-one on via Discord. So I probably need like 30 minutes before a show to get that all set up. So, yeah, I do have some things to announce for the rest of the week if anybody's still watching. Monday is complete. Tuesday, same time, 6 p.m. We're going to be hanging out with Megan Gilbert, another comedian from NYC. And then Wednesday, I'm off. Thursday, we're going to be back with Nerd Gaze. We're going to be talking about Raised by Wolves episodes 3 and 4. We love that show. Please watch that show. It's on HBO Max. Watch it however you can. That's the legal way to say it. Because it's amazing. I love that show. I think it's better than anything I've seen in the past couple of years, honestly. I'm off Friday. Saturday, we're doing a cover bands night on Halloween. It's going to be 8 o'clock. It's going to be great. I've got my friends Manus Villanueva and his girlfriend Georgia, who are going to be doing Animal Crossing covers. Doesn't that sound fucking amazing? Tim Steinman's going to join us. He's going to be doing some cool stuff as well. We also have Evan Greenwald. I'm still trying to figure out what they're going to be playing, and I think my friend Matt is going to be playing for a full hour, just doing Grateful Dead covers. So just like, come on by. I mean, like if you're doing something already, just throw on the chat on your phone, like lurk around. It's going to be a really good time. But that's the week so far. I've got a lot of free time, so if anybody wants to interact with me, please feel free to do so. I'm going to be in my Discord. Whisper me if you want some access. But that was the stream tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, and I will see you soon. I'll leave you with a tune by Zach.
I'm just a fly on the wall. I slip and I fall. I drown in your water. You like Sephardi, get wasted. I don't do Molly no more. I fight my bags. I lead the dice. I'm gonna roll my clovers. I'm just a kid from Chicago. Wanna be Zach from that Bayside. All in my head, lying in bed, laughing at something I said. Thinking about something I shouldn't do. Thinking about you make my stomach weak. Grinding my teeth.